On WPTV tonight, some criminal cases in St. Lucie County could be in jeopardy due to damage caused by a tornado that hit the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office during Hurricane Milton. The tornado damaging a storage shed housing some key evidence. I'm digging into what kind of evidence was compromised and asking what is being done to more safely store evidence moving forward. It was one of the first scenes of major damage in the early hours of Hurricane Milton's impacts on October 9th. The St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office hit with a tornado, ripping apart a metal warehouse in seconds.
You know, that was really an act of God, though, what happened out here. I mean, it was unbelievable, just the force that came through there.
Now we're learning that debris crushed a storage shed in the same lot, housing thousands of pieces of evidence for drug cases.
Yeah, I think that's seen its last days.
Sheriff Richard Del Toro said damage was mostly limited to multiple bins inside the shed that experienced water intrusion, holding anything from fentanyl, cocaine, marijuana, crack cocaine, MDMA, and drug paraphernalia.
You know, there was about 60 pieces altogether, and it just varied, you know, from different amounts of damage, whether it was a ripped bag or the evidence got wet itself. And we didn't lose anything. It's just a matter of, that it was compromise, so we just want to make sure that we're being transparent.
That transparency, he says, comes from working with the state attorney's office to identify cases that might be compromised and notify those attorneys. I found they've sent out more than 1,000 notices to any attorney with an open case, whether their evidence was compromised or not, to have their bases covered.
And at the end of the day, we're talking about somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 cases that may have experienced some form of water intrusion. Although even those cases, we don't think is going to ultimately impact the viability of the evidence or the prosecution itself.
State Attorney Tom Backetall says attorneys can also have any evidence retested at a lab. And if something is compromised,
we're going to do the right thing. Right. Well, I mean, we're not going to go forward with the case.
But the shed damage bringing to surface a bigger issue. I asked the sheriff why evidence was being stored in outdoor sheds not rated for storms in the first place. Would that have been a method you would have supported, keeping drugs stored in an outside facility? But he says it was how previous sheriffs made room for a growing evidence log.
Because of our growth over the years, we were putting evidence pretty much everywhere, safely, securely, nothing wrong with it. But really didn't have a central location.
That will be changing. Progress is being made on a new large evidence warehouse near the county jail. It is storm rated and large enough to safely store all of the sheriff's office evidence in one place.
All under one roof, more accessible, more efficient, and hopefully more effective in the long run.
But there's another issue. That evidence warehouse has been in the works for years now, since Ken Mascara was in charge. Progress has been dragging. So just last week, Sheriff Del Toro sending this letter here to the county, asking if county crews could help speed along the final phases of the project. The county told me it is working with the sheriff, but there's still no sign that it would be complete before the next storm season.